Hello everyone, welcome to my desktop. Sorry about the digital recorder not working. I don't know what the problem is with that, but I'm trying to do something here to make up for it. I hope this will be helpful. And I'm going to have to break this up into several small videos because you just can't upload large videos to YouTube, I've learned. So I'm having to go back and kind of do this, and so I'll break this down into smaller videos. Okay, let's go back and look at operant conditioning for just a minute. There are three components in the equation. First off, we have our behavior. This is the most important thing. Behaviorists are interested in behavior, also referred to as the operant response. That's why the R for response. I know we have two terms there. Sorry about that. Two terms for the same thing, but that's the way it works sometimes. Down here at the end, we have our stimulus, which is our contingent stimulus, also referred to as reinforcement. I'll use both of these, but I like the term reinforcement. It is a stimulus, though, so it's referred to as the contingent stimulus, also meaning it's contingent or dependent on the response. If you get this response, then you'll get this. If you don't have the response, then this doesn't happen. So the stimulus reinforcement or contingent stimulus is contingent or dependent on the behavior or the response. And then we have here at the beginning of the equation our discriminative stimulus. Okay, I'm going to talk right now in these series of little short videos about positive and negative reinforcement. I want to say something else about this word reinforcement. I think we know what this word means, but it kind of just floats by us sometimes. If you think about reinforcement, when you reinforce something, what do you do to it? Well, you make it stronger. That's what reinforcement is. To reinforce something is to make it stronger. So what are we reinforcing? What are we making stronger in operant conditioning? Well, in these two we are making the behavior. That's what we want to make stronger. Okay, let's talk about some questions here. These are the questions that you might ask yourselves to get into a scenario. Like an example I'll give you for practice, or something for a quiz, or even a situation you might find yourself in teaching, something you might have to deal with on the praxis even. These are the questions that you'll need to ask yourself as you're analyzing a situation. First of all, which organism are we talking about? In some of these examples, there's more than one organism. There's more than one subject or person. So, first of all, we need to know which organism we're talking about. I'm going to put that in yellow for clarification. Secondly, and this is probably the most important thing, the behavior. What is the organism's behavior? The organism that we're focusing on, what is that organism's behavior? Because it's so important, I'm going to put that in red. Third thing we want to know, is the behavior of the relevant organism strengthened or weakened? Now remember, we're talking about positive and negative reinforcement. So we're talking about strengthening behavior in this first few little snippet videos here. We're talking about strengthening behavior. So I'm going to put that in green. Green things grow and get stronger. Maybe that's a way to help remember it. Okay, the next thing is, what is the reinforcement here? Is it something which is presented or removed? Sometimes a stimulus can be presented, added, subtracted to the situation, like everything here in column A, or it can be removed, subtracted, or stopped, as in column B. So we got to know which organism. We have to know that organism's particular behavior. We need to know if that behavior is strengthened. And we need to know what the reinforcement is and whether the reinforcement is something that's being presented or the removal of something. If something is presented, added, or subtracted, we're talking about positive reinforcement. If the reinforcement is something being removed, subtracted, or stopped, then that is negative reinforcement. Finally, we want to talk about the discriminative stimulus, that first part. And that is what happens before the behavior is performed. This is something that marks the beginning of the pattern here. It's something that occurs the first time, and it continues to happen right before the behavior, each other or subsequent time that the behavior is performed. And it serves as a cue or signal to trigger the behavior. Okay, I'm going to be back with a part 2 soon, and we'll get into a couple of examples.